Okay, so our next topic would be HTML forms. Okay, so this is an introduction to HTML form. Now, forms enables us to input data coming from the user. Okay, so there's actually two kinds of form. The first one is a post, which will be covered this day, or in this example, and the other one is get, which will be covered on the next example. Okay, let's first try to define what is your post, since it's going to be covered on this particular example. Okay, so PHP post is a PHP super global variable which is used to collect form data after submitting an HTML form with the method post. Okay, $post is also widely used to pass variable. Now, post can be used to pass variables between pages or within the page, and it's also defined in your method of submission. Okay, which, as what I've said, will be covered this on this example. So let's try to code so that I can show you what I mean. So let's first try to define form method post. Then we have your action, exercise 09.php. Okay, so uh, this is just a basic form. So you have your post method. So your method is post. So in order for us to access the contents of this particular form, we need to use $_post. Action, on the other hand, means this is the file that will process our form input. So in this case, exercise _09.php. So it will be this on the same file. So whatever we try to input on this particular form will be processed on the same file. But let's say, for example, we're going to specify a different file, it will be processed by a different file. Now, this is just for exercise purposes. So, or for sample purposes, we're just going to process it within the same file. Okay, so let's try to put label. Let's try to continue our coding. So let's maybe put here first name. Input type text, name, text name. Try to use button submit, since this is basically a button. Okay, next is value submit. Okay, so let's try to explain this first. Now, label basically is just a label of your form. Input type text, and we have input type submit. This is just two kinds of several forms that we can use. Now, in this case, we are just going to use for the meantime text and your submit button. Okay, now as you've noticed also, I've added the prefix text or txt for my input type text, and b and t for my input type submit, meaning this particular uh, post uses a button, and this particular post also uses your text box. Okay, Uh, let's try to output, and let's try to see what or how it will look on our HTML form. Firefox. This is actually how it will look on our HTML form. Okay, so you have your first name, you have your text box, and you have your submit button. Okay, let's try to add some more code. If button submit, my name is text f name. Try to add this particular code, ahref okay. Okay, let's try to see this time what the output is. Now, as you've noticed, I've generated an error, undefined index button submit. Now, how do we hide the notice? There's actually two ways on how to hide your notice, or how to turn off your notice. Okay, so let's go back to our code. The first one is by trying to use error reporting 0, wherein it will actually turn off all of the errors on this particular page. That's one way. The other one is by putting your @ sign, okay, meaning it will just turn off the error or the notice of this particular code. Or if we want to check if it's set or not, it's not actually turning off the error. It's most likely we just want to check if the variable is set or not. We can use maybe is set then you have your post button submit. This is a much more cleaner approach than turning it off and at the same time also trying to put error reporting 0. Okay, so let's go back to our code, or let's try to go back to our page. Okay, there's no more notice. Let's try to add Michael, then let's click submit. Okay, my name is Michael. Then if we're going to click back, it will actually hide the, or it will actually go back to its previous state.